The views and opinions expressed on Lifeguards Off Duty are those of its hosts and guests exclusively. They do not represent any entity, organization, or municipality.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Michael Kachmar,
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Sean.
and this is Lifeguards Off Duty with Dr. Michael Kachmar, the Jersey Shore #1 lifeguard-themed video podcast.
Watch us on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook Live. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever streaming service you prefer.
If you would like to contact us, send an email to drkachmar@icloud.com. Follow us on Instagram at lg.association.
All right, let's get started.
Let's start the show.
Let's do it.
She said they're gonna lock you up for killing me tonight. And then I bit her lip just a little bit harder. Well, I was so sure.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Michael Kachmar. Welcome to Lifeguards Off Duty.
I'm going to catch you one of these days.
Yeah, I know. Today's date is December 20th, the year of our Lord 2022. It's getting close to Christmas, and this is our Christmas show today. So we want to say hello to everybody, and we have Tyler here. Tyler's dressed
What's
in
Yeah, I mean,
Christmas colors.
I come here straight from work.
Yeah,
In
I'm
costume.
a lifeguard
yeah.
who's off duty that was on
Well, look
duty.
what I have. I got my SHPP Junior Lifeguard shirt.
Hey, where'd you get that? You're not a counselor.
He knows a guy.
I know a guy who knows a guy. So anyway, and we have Sean.
What's
Hi,
up,
Sean.
guys? I'm like disappearing in all this.
Yeah, Sean, you're dark. You're all dark. So
Ooh, wrong clothing choice today, dude. You got the fresh Timbs on, but not the visible shirt.
Hello, everybody.
so we're having this is our Christmas show. I guess we'll have something
You
next
keep
week.
saying that,
I
but
know.
we don't have anything Christmas to talk
Well,
about.
yeah, well, we're talking. We just said it.
Tomorrow,
yeah. Merry
December
Christmas.
21st.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
December
What do you guys?
21st is the first day of winter.
All right, here's a question for you guys. Catch, we'll start with you. What is the best Christmas present you've ever gotten?
Ooh.
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, I was gonna say it depends who listens, but my family. My family. Listen, I was very blessed. My mother and father. I grew up with great brothers and sisters, so it's my family. I have to say my family. And now my family too. Everybody that's around me. So I think that's probably material wise.
That's the answer.
I
I'm
know, that was
looking
such a
for.
cop-out answer.
Well,
what a well-spoken
Well, I'm a-
Christian man.
Well, I'm a saint, so I don't.
no. I mean, the bar of gold that I got, the fistful of coins I have, the gold
Fistful of-
coins I have in my
that's,
pocket.
That's the thing about Christmas, right? Is when you can give
Present.
someone something material that also holds all that like sentimental meaning.
But there's also a lot of things that people could give you that are not physical. Somebody could give you love. Somebody could give you their loyalty. So it's not an easy answer. As you get older, I think you'll appreciate it more. But if you ask me, what's the best like present,
Yeah.
real, physical thing? Well, I tell you, one of them was when I was a young kid. I got a bike, for communion. And I remember that was a big one.
For communion,
Yeah,
that's not a Christmas present.
Well, you're asking me a present. You
said
said
Christmas.
okay, Christmas present. Well, I thought I was
You
just
got a
saying
communion
present.
present?
Yeah. You know what happened? I got a bike. Listen to this one. I tell you, it's a real quick story. Because made my communion, and you'd wear all white. Everything was white. White shoes, white shirt, white tie, everything. So had my communion. Went to the big party afterwards, and I got this bike, and I wanted to go ride, and I took it out. And well, the bike had a chain. The chain was greasy. And after I finished riding it, plus probably through water, the whole outfit was all like greased up, dirty. My parents, like they lost their minds. I remember.
I feel
got
like
more trouble.
acquiring your bike, like the bike back in the day was such a more significant gift than it is now.
Getting your bike is like the 12, or like when we were growing up, especially, is like the 12-year-old equivalent of getting your license.
It's like freedom.
Yeah,
You can
I
finally-
remember it was on Christmas. I got my first bike. I felt like I was just given
Yep.
the keys to the world.
Yeah. Well, they were like motorcycles. I had you get the banana seat. So as soon as I got the bike, you had to get a 20-inch. The big thing was my parents were going to get me an English racer and all that. We all had the small bikes. You get the sissy bar in the back. It was like probably 9 foot tall.
The seat,
You put it,
like where you
no,
lean
no,
against? Or
yeah,
what?
yeah. And you put the raccoon tail, the whole thing. And
You just feel so cool.
There was about 15 of us, and we would just terrorize the neighborhood with
Did
those
you guys
bikes.
put old playing cards or
Yeah,
trading cards in the Stokes?
yeah.
Spokes?
I know we had the raccoon tails, we had the sissy bars, the banana seat, and we would just go all. And then the big thing we started doing was like jumping jumping hills. Lived in the city, so we tried to find like where they'd be ripping up the road, and it'd be like kind of like dirt piles.
A little hump to
Yeah. We would just be like
You were extreme
gangsters.
like that?
We were like gangsters driving around. Yeah, we were all went to Catholic school. How bad could we have been?
Got a pack of cigarettes rolled up in your
I
sleeve.
think so.
There was the candy, white sticks of candy.
But that was a big present. You're right. It was
The
like
bicycle,
freedom.
yeah. That's like getting the bike when you're 12 is like when you let the rookie drive the quad for the first time on the beach.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, what a moment that is.
Yeah. But bikes were really, wild. But what about you? What was your best present?
Well, I'll tell you what, last year, so as you guys know, huge Manchester United fan, and I went to watch a Champions League game at Darcy's with my girlfriend and Adam and his girlfriend, and I pointed out this like sweater that this guy had. It was like a training top from like the early 2000s, like 2000, 2001.
Right.
And I could not find one online to buy. And my girlfriend actually went and got me one and found me one of those. And it was like, that's like what I said, like when the materialism matches up with something that's really important to you, that's when you get a good Christmas present. But that was really cool. Like she had to try really hard to find that.
What about you, Sean? What did you?
The one that comes to mind is this. I was like 8 when I got it. I was super excited about it. It was the Empire Strikes Back.
Did you have that 3 o'clock shadow when you were 8 years old? I could just see you.
No, this is just me forgetting to shave.
Wait.
Okay.
Did you just call it a 3 o'clock shadow?
5 o'clock shadow.
It's not there
That's a
yet.
3 o'clock.
I know,
It's 5 o'clock. It's
Cash,
like a full grown
You
beard.
know what I love about you is anytime you say like a cliche saying, there's like a catch twist up.
Okay.
Goose pimples, body English.
So go ahead.
Body English is a good one.
So go ahead. Tell me. So what was your present?
Empire Strikes Back. I was like 8. I don't know why I remember this so much. It was just such a cool thing. The walkers from Empire. You know what I'm talking about?
The AT-AT?
The AT-AT. I didn't get it for Christmas actually, but my parents were still looking for it, and I was super disappointed. I was trying not to be disappointed, but I was a little bit let down on Christmas. They were searching for it, and then I got it for Easter that same year, and I was climbing on the walls.
Right. Well, I tell you, talking about presents and everything. So we watched this weekend 2 movies. We watched the Griswold.
That's a great one.
Right, but then after that, we watched the old one. It was called Christmas Story. And it's the one. It's like from
Shoot your eye out.
Shoot your eye out. That was and that was what he wanted. He wanted the BB.
You guys want to hear a messed up Christmas story? So when we were kids, we figured out the scam pretty quickly of Christmas, and it was because my brother, who he must have been like 10 or 11 at the time, which would have made me 8. One day he comes up to me and he's like, "I know where the presents are." And he takes me into my parents' closet, and we go through all the presents, and we're like, we all figure out, what we had, and our parents found out that we did that.
How old were you?
I must have been like 8 years old.
Oh.
So they made us write a list of everything we saw, and then on Christmas morning, instead of wrapping those things, they were just like thrown on the ground in front of the Christmas tree.
Oh man, that's bad.
We deserved it though. Yeah, my brother was conniving.
Yeah. Well, I don't know when we were, I think we when we started realizing there was something going on, how Santa Claus got down the chimney, because the chimney, I think our chimney, we had actually a fireplace, back up in the city, and it just didn't make sense to me that you could fit through there. The thing was burning and everything. How do you get through?
How's Santa getting in through this wood burning stove?
He's magic.
Yeah. So it's a little bit, So anyway, let's go.
Good thing Ava's not on this episode.
So let's go to our whiteboard today. This is something I wanted to talk about, and with lifeguarding. And this was an article that I saw. I thought it was pretty neat. And up in Nantucket, they just passed an ordinance going forward for next summer. So all Nantucket beaches you could be topless. women could be topless. Because the idea, it's interesting what brought it about. That's really what I wanted to talk about. It's not so much that there, you could be topless. There are nude beaches. There's nude beaches in Dominican Republic, Florida. I don't know if California, but definitely Florida. But topless is a little something different. The reason why they're doing topless in Nantucket, because it's liberal. That's a liberal. Where's Nantucket? That's Massachusetts, right? No, what state is that?
Massachusetts.
Right.
That's as
right. That's so liberal. I went up there. I went up to Martha's Vineyard. It's like everybody's like, oh, Kennedy was over there and Barack Obama slept over there, and as well. But anyway, they're doing it for equality. So if men can walk around with their tops off, so women can, and so it's kind of a woke scenario. But I tell you what. I'm fine with it, But the thing is,
Well, I'll tell you what. While you were making your tea, and I wasn't gonna say anything because I kind of knew, because we talked about this a little bit on the phone.
Okay.
But Sean was like, "Oh, I bet."
I thought you were gonna have the opposite.
You're gonna
opinion.
have the opposite take. Yeah.
No, I could tell you right now.
Especially how you preface this. This woke shit.
No. Listen, here's the thing, though. I've been down in Miami. And talking to Jerry, when I would see him, I'd go down there because I had a buddy of mine who owned a
shout out Jerry Faulkner.
Right. And I would, and like I'd be standing there talking to him, and like 5 girls would come up, teenagers, maybe a little bit older, topless, and they're like talking to you, and like you're like it's just kind of surprises you because you're not used to seeing that, and down there you don't even think about it anymore. I think it's going to be interesting because there's going to be a lot of conflict that's going to happen. There's going to be parents on the beach with their young boys, young kids, maybe a 9-year-old kid, and they're going to be seeing this. You get some of these girls walking around, and it could be very provocative. Listen, I think you have the right. In Europe, my sister was in Germany, she was stationed there. She was telling me they go outside, like she'd be doing recruiting or something in the afternoon for lunch. They go outside and the girls would take their tops off and get sun.
Listen to the wording.
So it's not really. Yeah, it's the reason why they're doing it though.
Listen to the word. The wording of this is goofy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Earlier this year, a local-led gender equality on beaches campaign proposed a bylaw amendment that would make it legal for anyone of any gender to go nude from the waist up while on a beach on the island, meaning that's just women.
No, it says any gender.
Yeah, but that's what I like. That's
any gender.
That's to account for
Tyler,
trans.
Tyler,
I guess.
there's 36 genders.
But this is what I'm saying.
That's the.
If you're a fluid amoeboid.
I don't know. This confuses me. I don't even want to get into this.
Yeah, no. I think it's great. So my point is the practicality. The reason why they're doing it is dumb. But anyway, I just thought it's the woke thing. But it's going to be an interesting thing. Maybe up there, but if other beaches like New Jersey's very liberal, so let's just say they do it. Can you imagine Seaside, you got, and is there any age? So you got 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old girls walking around topless.
Yeah.
There's going to be little boys running around.
Honestly,
they're going to be like, you're going to get, but here's where you're going to get the problem. Parents are going to be upset. If you have a little boy who's, 6 years old, 7 years old, and the kid's just staring there, it sets up a little bit of a scenario. I could care less. To me, listen, back in the day, you couldn't breastfeed on the boardwalk. You couldn't breastfeed on the beach. You get a ticket.
That is weird. I know about. Okay? I know like those laws existed or exist.
But look, go look at the pictures from Atlantic City.
Yeah, this is a good.
Go look at the beaches.
South Carolina.
In Atlantic City, you had to. Back in the days, you had to cover up everything. In the 1920s, the women had to wear like dresses and couldn't have their ankles exposed, and they went swimming in the water. Men had to have shorts. I remember in Seaside Heights, there was an ordinance: you cannot walk on the boardwalk as a man without a shirt on. You couldn't go bare-chested. That was considered. So things are changing.
A lot of pale people walking around Seaside Heights back then.
The nude thing is another whole thing. But so the topless thing, you thought I was going to be against it. I'm not against it. I just think that the reason why they're doing it is kind of stupid. It has to be equality. And the other thing is you got to be careful you don't get a really bad sunburn. But I've been in beaches where the girls.
Not in the glands.
Listen, I've been in beaches where the girls topless down in Dominican Republic. But let me go back to the story with the guy in our beach. and I think it's a great story. We've had a guy come down for years. He's a skinny, tall guy. He's got kind of like long hair, grayish hair. He doesn't. I don't see him wear makeup or anything, but he wears a bikini bathing suit. He has no breasts. He's just a regular guy.
What?
There's a guy, you've seen him on the beach. He's on the South End a lot. He's been coming down for the past 6-7 years. I don't think he was around maybe once this summer. It's a guy.
Have you seen this guy?
I have no clue, and that's
Okay,
the whole time I've been
Yeah,
around.
I showed you. If he's maybe he wasn't around that much this summer, but I saw him this summer maybe once. But he comes down all the time. He's been coming down for years.
We got to send you out on assignment to
but-
get him in here for an
So
interview.
he's probably in his 50s. He wears a bikini bathing suit, and what he'll do, and he's kind of like long legs and everything, so he's kind of like Linky. From far away, it looks like, actually looks like some hot looking darling laying on the beach, So what happens is that he'll walk on the boardwalk, and he has a bikini bathing, so he'll go to the bathroom. He doesn't bother anybody. He's cool. I mean, I might have spoken to him once or twice. What he'll do though is he'll go down on the beach. He'll take his top off, right, when he gets to the blanket. So so he's topless, but he has no breasts. Okay, and I think he's got piercings. So one day, this is how I first found out about this guy. I get a call on the radio, one of the lifeguards saying there's a girl down here topless. So of course, like 9 guys are like running down, fighting to get on the ATV to go
Rotate. Everybody rotate.
Oh my God. So I go down, right? And it's a woman complaining. So I go to lifeguard stand. There's this woman. She's probably in her like 50s, and she's going, there's a woman, there's a girl over there topless, and I think it's disgusting. So I'm like, okay, let me go. So I'm gonna go over. I forgot, I just, hey, listen, you gotta put your top on. I go there, and it's this guy, and I'm like looking around, and I realized that he's got a bikini bathing suit, and I could see the top, and then I could see what the deal is. And he goes, is there a problem? I go, no. I said, actually, I got this lady,
Complaining about
complaining. And I go, obviously, you're a man, so I can't make you. I'm not going to make him.
And was he offended by that statement?
No. I just said, I'm sorry. I had to check it out. I said, he goes, do I got to put my top on? I go, no, it's up. You want to leave, take it on, put it off. It's up to you, And so I went over there.
How open-minded of you, Captain.
And I said, well, I'm not. He's a guy. I can't.
Be progressive.
No, it's just it's common sense. So I went to the lady. I'm going like, listen, that is a guy.
So blue of him.
I go, listen, I said, that's a guy, and he has no breasts. And so he doesn't have to wear the top. She just looked at me and she goes, well, I don't understand why he's topless.
Well, ask every other guy.
I was just like, ma'am, if you have any problems, you could go talk to a police officer. I can't deal with you anymore. But it was pretty funny. So that guy comes down all the time, and so it is kind of funny. So she wanted the guy to put the top on because he had the top on. It's a kind of a weird, scenario on our whole beach with all of this stuff. So where else is there topless beaches in the United States? Did you get that map?
We were just looking at it.
This is. Do you know? Do we know how to
Topless and
zoom on
nude
this damn
sunbathing.
computer?
What's that?
So green is good. Red is it's not allowed at all. So
All those states
You
could
can't
go.
read that, can you?
I was on another site looking at it earlier.
So all of those states, most of the country, you could go nude or topless. Really?
There's areas where it's allowed and yellow. I'll find another one.
Can you see? I can't. Can you make that a little
but
bigger?
South
I
Carolina,
do not know.
South Carolina, Tennessee, Utah, and is that
Alaska too. Yeah, man, that's gonna be kind of cold up there to go topless.
Woo.
Wait, what? New Jersey's not? Is not? We're so liberal, but
Hold the line.
see, I don't get the states. At one point, we're like so liberal off the Richter scale.
So how long do you think till it's allowed in Seaside? Topless.
Ooh.
Well, it's
Well,
no,
that's the day that
Ocean.
all of our
No,
girlfriends
I,
make
tell-
us
I
quit
tell you
being
what,
lifeguards.
we're Ocean County. Ocean and Monmouth County are very, very conservative Republican. So I don't know.
I'll tell you what.
I don't think it's.
That's definitely true. The amount of Trump and MAGA flags that were flying during the last election, like it is like disproportionately all conservative around here. It's kind of weird.
I just think it's gonna. I think it's just gonna set up a little bit of a difficult situation because I think a lot of parents or families are going to be upset when these girls are walking around topless, and it's going to be very distracting. And whether or not you should have the right to do it, I would say maybe have a special beach, segregate it which is, some people think it's a bad word, but that's what a lot of beaches do. They'll say, okay, this section is nude or topless, and that's it. You go over there. And, of course, who's going to lifeguard that beach, I'd be fighting for that beach.
Yellow, for the record, at the chart that we're looking at, means that there are sectioned areas that they allow topless beaches or nudity.
Where in Jersey do they?
But what about the green
I don't
one?
know.
No, Sandy Hook. They have nude beach in Sandy Hook for years. What about the green? That's no go.
Official nudist locations and topless sunbathing is generally acceptable.
In the green.
Yeah.
But in the yellow is only certain places.
Public nudity is deemed unacceptable, but there are unofficial nudist beaches or reports that topless sunbathing is okay in specific locations.
And the red ones are no go, no fly
Not
zones.
acceptable at all.
No fly
Indiana,
zones.
Tennessee, South Carolina, and Utah.
What the hell is their problem?
Well, I tell you. Now you talk about different countries, like now Tortola, right, where I worked at. They don't even like. First of all, you can't go nude there, not at all, not topless, nothing, and they don't even appreciate public signs of affection. In other words, if you're with your wife or girlfriend and you kiss out in public, that's like people stare at you. They'll say something to you.
That's how it is in Qatar.
And then here's the thing: wearing no shirt, like so you get these. So in these islands, you get these cruise ships come in, right? And you get these, big fat Americans. They take their shirts off. They're walking down the street. They're big bellies, but that's just like a no too. People really get upset about that. Well, guitar, you can't do anything there. I told you that, So, but that was anyway. I thought that was pretty wild. I just saw that, and I
you ever have to break up anything on the beach, like people getting a little too handsy? I remember one time it was during the Mumford and Sons concert that we had. There was like this really big berm that weekend, and there was a couple like at the bottom of the berm just going at it, like they were like one step away from full blown having sex, and they thought nobody could see them.
No.
Like they were so shocked when I came up to them. I was like, "Yo, guys, like." I
started in 1977, okay? And there was a sexual revolution then. There was people having sex on the beach all the time. We would stop it. And especially on a rainy day when there wasn't a lot of people, and we would, you would see it, and then you go down, somebody would, we had phones, and they say, hey, you got to, stop that. So that, it was a lot of it. It was a really lot of it. And it was a different world back then, too. It was more acceptable. And I don't know. I think what really put a kibosh on a lot of that was the AIDS, when AIDS hit. AIDS hit, it just stopped everything. I mean, there was no, you can remember, back in the 60s and 70s, they introduced birth control. So, couldn't get really pregnant.
So people could do it.
And there was no diseases. There was nobody, herpes and AIDS, and mostly anything you get, you could
Those
get.
Are all because of vaccines?
No, you just any sexual transmitted disease, you could get an antibiotic and cleared it right up. When I was doing my residency,
so where did herpes come from? Just pop out of nowhere?
Well, it's a war. Yeah, maybe it was around, but it wasn't prevalent. Maybe it just, because so much, it just started. I don't, again, where did AIDS come from, So
a monkey.
But it popped up. So there wasn't that kind of taboo. And then when AIDS hit, that was it. Everything that really put a kibosh on a lot of different things. So, but my experience on the beach, there's been all kinds of crazy stuff, but it's been mellowed out. But if you're asking me my experience, Seaside Heights, we've always had everything. We've had transvestites, we've had gay people. I mean, it doesn't everything.
Is that the right word for them?
Yeah, no. People who
I don't know if that's
no, people who dressed. It used to be
It's
so.
his word.
Before we had all
That's
this
cross dressing
yeah, I think you call them transvestites
or drag.
No? Drag, yeah. So we would have, and then maybe they were transgender back in the day. I mean, I remember one of the lifeguards called me up and said, listen, there's a bunch of foreigners on the beach giving us a hard time. That's what they said. It was one of the 16-year-old kids. I'm like, foreigners, He goes, yeah, I think they're from France or something like that. So, you get this, And so I go down there, and it's just they're drinking and they give me a hard time. So I go down there and I can see what it is. It's a bunch of, they're all topless. They had their nipples pierced, and they were long hair, makeup, and they were guys, but they were, I guess you would call them transgender at that. This is probably 15 years ago. And so I went down there and I just walked right up to him. I go, oh my God, your eyes are, so beautiful, your makeup. She goes, oh, finally somebody who will listen to us. Anyway, we had the greatest time. I talked to him. I got him cooled down. And I just told him, I said, listen, you know, you got to just take the alcohol off the
Then
beach.
you invited him to your
Yeah,
lifeguard
yeah.
party.
Yes, you did.
Woohoo! Like, yeah, but it was so funny. The lifeguard goes, "They're foreigners from France." Like, oh, they're not foreigners. They're,
You girls want to come to the lifeguard party?
you know, the thing about, I tell you what, one thing about Cecil Heights Beach Patrol, I got to say this: we've had we've had all kinds of lifeguards. We never ever we were never prejudiced against it. I mean, we've had every nationality. We've had gay guys. We've had gay women. We've had black, yellow, everything, and it matches our clientele. So we've been always very progressive on our beach. I don't think that that's why I get cracked up when people. There've been some times where they criticize us, maybe say we're prejudiced or something like that. That's not even close to it. So, but yeah. So anyway, maybe it'll happen in New Jersey, topless. I don't care. I don't think in our county it'll fly. Especially, here's the other thing too: is you have a lot of we have a lot of Muslims coming on the beach now, and Hasidic Jews coming. And they're not going to tolerate that.
That would be a conflict of interest, wouldn't it?
They would not approve.
No, they wouldn't. They'd be very upset about that.
I'd like to see that.
Well, listen, you try to accommodate everybody. If it does come down the pike, you could have. It's easy to fix. You just have a section of the beach where they could go. Put them in front of the pier or something. Put them in front of my lifeguard stand.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care. I'll take him. Anyway, so what else? So what's next on the board here? So we talk Jack Kelly.
We talk about this guy Jack Kelly.
So who's Jack Kelly? Here's the name. Talk about it. Who is he? Can you put his picture up?
We should have
Sean's.
one.
No, I'm talking about in the middle there. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna start with senior.
Okay.
Yeah, let's start with senior.
Can you put? Here he is in the
Cash,
box.
I think you're gonna like this guy. Born October 4th. Oh man, I was just looking at it. 1889.
Okay, wait. Say 1889. Oh,
Jack
Pennsylvania, Philadelphia.
Jack Kelly was a lieutenant in World
he
War
died.
One.
Whoa. Oh, 1889. Oh,
Yeah.
whoa. Died in 1960. Wow.
He's even older than you.
This dude was a savage, Cashmore. He went
Well, I was born in 57, so.
during World War
Wow.
One. He was undefeated in the Armed Forces boxing tournament until he broke his ankle and was unable to compete.
Wow.
So this guy is like an all-time great rower. He had so this was the 1889. He had dreams of competing in this race called the Diamond Challenge Sculls, which is the individual race at the Henley Royal Regatta.
Wait, stop for a second. So he was in the 1920, and so he was how old? Olympics, and then Paris, and also 24, because you had the games in Berlin.
Yeah.
And but this was water, so he
actually competed in the Berlin games too.
Wow, can you imagine? Because that World War I, he fought the Germans. Then he was, then it was peace, and then Hitler started to come back into the scene, and a lot of those guys. Yeah, so he was probably competing against the Germans that he fought against.
Probably in Berlin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So go ahead.
So he had this dream of he was a Philly boy. He had this dream of competing at this extravagant race at the Henley Royal Regatta, which is in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
However, he wasn't allowed to compete because the Vesper Boat Club, everyone had to have a club team at this time, raised money for his expenses through a public subscription, so like the donations essentially. And he was also considered an amateur, which both of these things broke the rules, which anyone who is or has ever been by trade or employment for wages a mechanic, artisan, or laborer. So essentially they were telling him he was too poor to compete.
Really?
To rich people. It's kind of similar to the thing with soccer that we were talking about.
Yeah.
When the FA was formed, it was only rich dudes that could play because they wouldn't allow people to be paid to play. It's kind of similar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Look at it. Look at the guns on that.
So
guy.
wait.
So go ahead.
Now, just before we go on, the 1920s. So there's not even any real organized beach patrols at this point, right?
No,
Is he a rescueman in any way?
When? What year? To 20? No,
the 20s was the really, really early days. That was I think AC was 1918 or something like that. Maybe later than that.
Yeah. So he wasn't a lifeguard. His son, however, was, which we're gonna get to.
Okay.
So go ahead. Keep going. So he was a lawyer. At Georgetown University Law School.
Grew up as a working boy. Kelly was under the impression the rules were to ensure any American couldn't win the race because it was a British tournament that just took place in Philadelphia at a British club. This guy that would go to win it was named Jack Beresford, Beresford. He won the Diamond Sculls the year that Jack Kelly got the subscription to play. And after being turned down, Jack Kelly planned to compete in the Olympics because amateurs could at the time compete. And at the 1920 Antwerp, France Olympics, during the single sculls, Kelly was behind Beresford, the man he swore to beat, in the last 100 meters of the race, where he began to shift gears and won the race by 1 second.
Wow.
Which in a 100-meter race, a 1 second victory is a massive comeback.
Sure. Yeah.
By the way, didn't do this on purpose, but pulled up this picture of that exact moment.
Yeah, no, it's a famous moment.
Wow.
So, I've seen this picture.
I wish I could make it bigger for the, but
Yeah,
Sure, just grab it on the end. You can't do it, no.
nah. Continue, Sean. Sorry.
Wow. That's pretty wild.
You know, this dude meant business.
There is a way to make it bigger. If you hit the side of it, well, maybe not. All right, yeah, so what were we going to say?
So this guy, Kelly Sr., would go on to win 3 titles at the Antwerp, three Olympic medals. And he's the only person to win the single sculls and double sculls in the same Olympics. So not even an hour later after doing this, he went on to win another gold medal.
Now, let me stop you for
as doubles.
In the doubles.
Did he was on the road? Was he on? Did he row in Philadelphia? Because that they had the. So was he with the University of Pennsylvania?
I just said the college he went to on the thing. I don't know if he rowed in college, but he actually has his family's responsible for a very big rowing club in Philadelphia that's still active today.
Right.
You know what it's called?
I forget off the top of my head.
When I went to school there in Philly, I went to Temple. You had you could see at night, during the school, they had the boat.
The rowers?
Well, they had the boat houses and all lit up all the time. Yeah, I watched races there. I mean, I was actually in Boston.
Was it the boats that we just looked at? Because those are the actual. That's the name of the boat. Is the skull.
Yeah, the skulls. What they call them skulls. I don't know what exactly. They have all different kind, but I mean, that was a big thing in Philly. I mean, they still. I would imagine if they still do it. I don't know. I haven't been. That rowing in Philly was.
It's a big thing still.
Yeah.
This looking at these boats, it always just reminds me of the Social Network scene. Do you know what I'm talking about, Ty? Have you seen that movie?
Where they're rowing like the stationary thing?
No, with the big races. There's a bunch of rowing scenes, I guess, in it. But that's just what I coined to this.
The Winklevoss.
The Winklevoss twins.
Is that the Winklevoss? Is that
yeah?
The Winklebros? The Winklebros? Yeah, they were big time.
Is that women or is that guys?
That looks like women.
Because they all got long hair.
Yeah. I just looked up skull boat.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so this is the father.
So John had 3 gold Olympic medals, and he had 126 consecutive single victories.
Wow.
Singles. Yeah, this dude was a savage. His son, Jack Kelly, Kel Kelly, or John Kelly Jr., as all of his names go. He was born in March 24th, 1927. He was an Ocean City lifeguard. And he also technically broke the rules. So when he also joined the Henley Royal Regatta, and since he rowed on the beach, technically he wasn't supposed to be allowed to row. So and he made a note of that.
Wow.
So this picture right here, this is Jack Sr. and this is Jack Kelly Jr.
Wow.
One thing I forgot to mention, John Kelly Sr., when he won the Olympics and beat Jack Beresford, he sent his rowing cap to the King of England with a note that said, from a laborer's son, just to smite him a little bit.
Yeah, I could see him. I could see him going to his Yankees. we should have beat him.
Those Yanks.
those Yanks.
Jack Kelly Jr. was a big time South Jersey doubles rower. He rowed with Joe Reagan, another Ocean
not to be
City
confused
lifeguard.
with Joe Rogan.
And now, so is he not rowing these scull boats? He's rowing surf boats.
He rowed scull and surf boats.
But he came up rowing surf boats.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure it probably started younger with his dad.
They didn't say what kind. What was he in college in Philly? Was he on the row team? Or you don't know.
They have a club. I know it's associated with the college. I just don't have. It might be farther down my notes.
I'd like to see what kind of boats they were rowing, even in the beach. I don't know what they had back in those days.
There's a great picture I have of them in Van Dyne.
Van Dyne. Wow. By the way, we're trying to get an interview with Van Dyne. He said the Van Dyne brothers they agreed to it, so we got to try to get down.
Oh
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
In 1947, Jack Kelly won the Diamond Sculls at the Henley Royal Regatta, which his dad was training him for his whole life, which is just the race he never was allowed to compete in. But his son was technically not supposed to row in it because he worked
on the beach.
Yeah.
Wow.
At the during like his retirement era of lifeguarding, Tyler, you remember the music pier in Ocean City when we ran the race?
Yeah, that was really cool.
They fit over 2,000 people in there, like just celebrating him and his family, because they also were big donators to the Ocean City town. They were just very famous people. The actual most famous person from the family is Grace Kelly, who I'm gonna talk about in a second.
Now, how's she associated with these people?
She's Jack Kelly Jr.'s sister. So John Kelly, the Olympian's daughter.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So his daughter was Grace Kelly. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
She was a.
You know Grace Kelly?
She's a very famous actress.
She's famous.
Wait, we're gonna get into a second. I have one more thing
So
about
go ahead.
Jack Kelly.
Well, she's more famous because she married who?
The Prince of Morocco.
Morocco. Yeah, okay. Well, everybody knows. Well,
Yeah,
you guys
no, this is very
I don't know
big
that.
deal. Jack Kelly was awarded the James E. Sullivan Award, which is like a young athletes award. And just some names of people that have won it is Caitlyn Jenner, Simone Biles, Michael Phelps, Tim Tebow, J.J. Redick, Ezekiel Elliott, Peyton Manning, and Carissa Moore.
Wow.
So just big names. Like he was just a big athlete for his time.
And when was Jack Kelly Jr. born?
1927.
Okay. And then, so he was like competing throughout like the 40s then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
47. He won the regatta.
Was he? Did he go to World War II? Or was he in the war? No.
If he was rowing, I don't think so. Right?
Well, the father went. Well, he could have been drafted. A lot of people went in World War II. I mean, he might have missed it. When was he born? What year? I'm sorry.
1927.
So 30.
He was 20 and 47.
Well, 45. The war started. He just might have just missed it because, the war. 42. We went into the war in 42.
And the Hitler Olympics were before that?
Yeah. That was Berlin was 38, I think.
So the war wasn't going on at all.
No,
Everyone just thought Hitler was just like this socialist.
Yeah, I don't think he invaded Poland
leader.
yet. When he invaded Poland, that was when it was. He was, yeah. So I'm
Now, were there like you're the history buff in the room? Were there hints that by that Olympics, were there hints that it was gonna turn bad? Obviously, no one could have predicted how bad it turned. But
wasn't the famous black Olympian an American?
Jesse Owens?
Yeah.
Right?
They hated that.
He killed it that Olympics.
I don't know. You're asking me that level of at that point. I don't know who knew what. I mean, things were getting. I think it was a big thing about us being there. People talked about boycotting it and stuff like that. I don't know when he invaded Poland, but that was really the key. I'm very sure there was a lot of tension.
That would be interesting to read about, especially like in light of this whole Qatar World Cup, and all the controversy around that. Like how these sporting events go ahead while like there's still a lot of like political unrest. The same thing happened with Argentina in, I think, I want to say they had the World Cup in '78, and there were same things. People talking about boycotting it.
Right.
And
FIFA
was like, we don't.
Yeah. Well,
like,
Carter,
politics.
President Carter pulled the Olympics. What year was that? 70. What Olympics was that? Let me see. Carter was in there. 74. I don't know. 76 Olympics.
They were supposed to be here.
No, we boycotted Russia. Where were they going to be at? I forget now. Oh man, you're getting my memory.
Wow! If a country did something like that today, that'd be crazy.
Well, they were talking about. We boycotted. What Olympic did we boycott?
1980, Moscow.
It was Carter? Was Carter president then? Carter was the president. I'm pretty sure. Go put down. When did we? So it is funny because war has.
He was president.
Yeah, war has interrupted a lot of the sports stuff, So if you think about it, it was the Olympics.
Yeah, so in the '78 World Cup that was in Argentina, they had just undergone a military coup of its democratic
coup. It's not a coupe. You have
Coupe-
coupe.
coupe's a
Coupe's a
car.
cough. Or coupe. You could have the coupe. That's when you cough
Of
a
its
lot.
democratic government only 2 years before the Cup, which installed a dictatorship known as the National Reorganization Progress. And they still went ahead with this tournament while all this was going on. Yeah, so like I said, I just think that's interesting to look at, like what the climate was during that Olympics. What were people thinking, you know?
I can't imagine good things all
I
the time.
can't imagine good things, yeah.
But a lot of times sports, have been interrupted. So let's get back to your guy. So your guy now.
So just Grace Kelly. More.
So go ahead.
Did you like Grace Kelly movies? Because she was
I don't.
kind of the era that you talk about when we talk about movies. Cash.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen her in movies. I mean, she was before my time. You know, it was my mom and dad's time. You know, but that she was certainly famous. There was a storybook. This woman, she married a prince. Morocco.
Yeah, Prince of Morocco.
That was
that kind
pretty.
of changed her life a little bit. She gave
Yeah.
up film after that.
Yeah, well,
Who wouldn't, right?
she owned. They own a country.
She started the Red Cross in Morocco too. She just
really?
It seemed like she kind of turned her back on fame and more or less just like, I mean, like, as it alludes to, there was a movie about her that was that kind of read between the lines a little bit and embellished. But
What's that movie called?
it's a good question. Oh,
Yeah, she's with Cary Grant.
Who's Cary Grant? Is that the dude from
Right there.
The Christmas movie?
What's
that movie? The one where the guy's like sad and like hates his family life.
No, that's not Cary Grant.
What's that movie?
It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah. That's not him.
No,
Who's that?
I don't know. You're people on a spot on our podcast. You got to come to and look at our stuff here. We got the. That's the problem. We should be talking about what we're looking at. But
James Stewart.
Jimmy Stewart.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Kashmir, have you seen any of these? The Grace Kelly biopic was Morocco of Grace. A Grace of Morocco.
Yeah. I've seen some of her movies. I don't remember though, but
The Country Girl.
So let me ask you this: this was the sister of the
Ocean City
father.
Lifeguard.
Oh no, okay. So the Olympian, he had the son and he had this daughter. Any other children that were like how'd she? He was famous and he won an Olympic medal. So how'd she get to hook up with royalty? Like where was the mix? Where's the story there? Because I mean,
I think the father developed affluence just through like hard work and
well, because Olympic, you're an Olympic star, so he must have been in that. Something else must have happened to him where he became very famous and rubbing elbows.
you
with
get
these
prize.
people.
You used to get prize. You get prize money still for winning tournaments. I think he just figured it out along the way because they had a business in Philadelphia, like a construction business.
Oh, okay.
And houses in Ocean City and Philadelphia. And honestly, just Grace Kelly's a very beautiful woman.
Oh yeah. So the son. Let me just to get this in perspective. The father won gold, and the son won gold in the Olympics also for the same.
The son did not win gold. I think he won bronze one year.
Bronze, okay, but he was in the Olympics. He was good enough to perform, and he won.
He
bronze.
actually was the
Wow.
president of the United States Olympics Committee for a while.
Really?
Mhm.
Oh wow. And anything more about his lifeguarding days? Nothing there.
There wasn't a lot. He was well celebrated. Their family home is still celebrated. They actually have a museum, like a section all dedicated to them in Ocean City.
Wow. Ocean City, just so you guys know, is a dry town. I don't know if it was back in the day.
No, it
It
still
is.
is. I was
No,
dying for a beer after
couldn't-
our half marathon, and there was
And none to be had.
nope, none
They
to be
still
had.
they still have
I
it.
had to,
a
I had to
dry
run
town.
all the way back across the bridge to the liquor store.
So you guys learn a lot about history on this show here. The with the Olympics and there was it definitely when the world was at tense that was a really great showing because Hitler was the master race and when you had this black runner win that just Hitler had to lose his mind over that.
Have
one.
you seen the video of Hitler at those Olympics, Kashmir?
I'm very sure I've seen a picture.
No, but like there's a video of him like tweaking out on what people think was Adderall at the time.
Oh yeah, they were all drug addicted. They were.
They
pretty
say Hitler was on a lot of speed.
Yeah, you know who was really talk about that. You know who's really drug addicted was the guy who ran the he's a shaky looking guy. The guy who ran the Air Force.
He's a shifty bastard, huh?
Yeah.
That mustache is awful.
Yeah, that is.
Look at how worked up he is just sitting there.
Yeah, he's definitely, listen, yeah. Wow, that's weird how he's doing
Right?
it. Maybe,
Looks like he has Parkinson's or something.
yeah, I don't know. Something.
Rubbing that knee. That footage might be sped up though.
Even if it is, like how slow everyone else is moving. Unless
Yeah,
just
it could be. I don't know. Listen,
Yeah,
listen.
no,
I'm not going
right.
to give the guy any accolade. I was watching one of these comedians, and he's talking about Hitler, and he goes, it was he's a guy who was on Saturday Night Live. He just passed away not too long ago.
Mark Norman?
No, McDonald.
Norm McDonald.
Norm McDonald.
And he goes, yeah, the more I watch this guy, the less I like him, And he's talking about Hitler. And he goes, they say that guy was so mesmerizing when he gave speeches, And did you ever see his speeches?
Oh, it's powerful.
Give it like he's like, yelling. I mean, the guy's just definitely. But this was a big Olympics. I think there was a lot of talk about not going to it, and can you imagine? But I just think about Kelly. He fought against the Germans in World War I, and then now he's competing against them in the Olympic.
This is the introduction to the 1936 Summer Olympics. So it wasn't
crazy.
38, it was 36.
Oh, 36. Well, that was just in the beginning. Yeah, there wasn't the situation yet, in Germany. So there's probably the Hindenburg.
Hindenburg was in New Jersey.
Maybe they came across.
It
Yeah,
was a Zeppelin.
My grandmother, I might have told you guys this. My grandmother was working at Lakehurst when that happened.
That's
Really?
crazy.
Yeah, she saw that. Not Nanny, not the one you know. My dad's mom.
When is the next Olympics?
It's every 4 years.
Do people even care about the Olympics anymore?
I don't like that narrative. I think the Winter Olympics happened and no one cared because who really does? But like,
Look at this crazy bastard.
2024 is the next Olympics.
What do you mean you're tired of that take?
It's kind of a fresh take. I get that, but like, who doesn't care about?
I'm not even trying to be original here. I'm
All
just
right, get
saying,
rid of this. I don't watch this guy.
I don't watch the Olympics. I haven't watched the Olympics since like
Go back to
Well,
it.
the
Michael
world-
Phelps was swimming.
The World Cup is kind of the Olympic soccer thing, right? Is there
Yeah,
soccer
it's just
in
like
the Olympics?
a way bigger deal.
Is there soccer in the Olympics?
There is, but the thing with soccer in the Olympics is that it's a U23 tournament. So basically, teams are only allowed to bring, which is also another silly rule. On the men's side, you're only allowed to bring like 2 or 3 players that are above the age of 23, and then the whole rest of the roster has to be 23 or under. The women, it's a senior tournament.
That is weird.
Yeah.
It is.
What I think is I think the Olympics kind of getting weird. They got stupid some of the stuff, like.
Well, the World Cup even they're just politicizing everything.
No, but I mean, but some of the stuff that they
Like
have,
the events?
yeah, ping pong, and I mean, I know it's.
Have you ever seen those guys go
I
at
know,
it?
I know, but they're getting crazy with this stuff. I mean,
Should they add? Should they add?
it's just, I think it's too much.
What?
Yeah.
Rescue life save? What's that sport?
Life
Life-saving?
saving.
Yeah.
Competitive life-saving? Remember that we were looking at?
Yeah.
They should add that to. That would be a cool Olympic sport. Maybe without the dummy.
Yeah, how,
Something about the dummy makes it feel corny.
No,
When
I
you
think that's
add
like
props-
the main thing.
When you add props to sports, it just makes it seem.
So
Like,
so
like padding in football.
That's not a
yeah.
prop though.
No.
Like a dummy's little. Maybe
The
if it were like
dummies, if it was a sack, would
it's
you
a
feel
real
okay?
person,
If it was a sack, would you feel
a
like?
real limp body.
Well, I'm sure they'll work on that. For you.
They put out a flyer. We need 10
lifeless corpses.
lifeless corpses to submerge at the
well,
deep end of the pool.
we should really, I tell you what, lifeguard tournaments and lifeguard competition is really amazing, and I don't think a lot of people. I know Red Bull tried to, really get involved in it. I don't think there's a real big market, or they couldn't get it to take off. Make it. Make
My
it
theory
big
is,
money.
I think prior to drones, it was hard to show, get
Yeah.
close-up shots and
Yeah,
show
yeah,
what's actually
yeah,
happening.
yeah.
Because otherwise, every shot is like some
Yeah.
zoom telescopic lens from the
Yeah.
beach,
Yeah.
and you can't really tell or
Yeah.
see
Yeah, but-
anything.
Red
Bull's got drones.
Now they do, but they really tried to get into it like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
They had
yeah.
drones back then.
They
for sure.
did. It's just, they had helicopters too. It
Yeah.
just never really, took off like a sport where a lot of people will watch. And maybe it's because it's seasonal. I mean, it's an amazing thing. You're there at a tournament. That's an amazing thing to watch, especially with the boats. And so I would like to. We should definitely have some presence with that next year and try to get some.
Yeah,
But,
we'll link up with Colin Stewart.
but I think that the public would love to see that. But that's interesting. The rowing, I think rowing is a great sport. I used to watch them in Philly on the river, the Schuylkill River, and I've been up in, like I said, in Boston and watched them row there, which is an amazing thing. Especially, I remember once they had the bunch of guys rowing. There's a guy with the horn, keeping them pace, and they had the Labrador dog sitting there, you know, and it was pretty neat. I mean, I'm very sure it's collegiate. It's probably so far, you know, they've been doing it for such a long time.
Yeah.
You know, crew.
Has there? This is a really random question, but you mentioned a Labrador. Has there ever been like a headquarters dog in your time?
Yeah, a couple of lifeguards had dogs that would come hang around. Yeah,
I've always wanted to have a dog that hung out in headquarters and came out to the stand with me.
Ken Reed had one, and the dog's name was Rebel, and he would come up to headquarters sometimes, and he would come up on the beach, so randomly come up. But yeah, we've had that. I got some pictures of the old headquarters too. I got to put up here. But anyway, that was pretty good. And so so what's our vote on topless? We all okay with topless beaches?
Oh, yeah.
So
As long as I can go topless.
well, yeah, I mean anybody can. So I just
Anybody of all genders.
Well, you know what? We talked about this. I talked to on my medical show that if you look at the definition right now in this country,
doubling up on content?
No, but if they don't consider who's giving us a
Scott.
Oh, hey Scott.
Scott says, "What's up, gents? Canada." I don't know why I said "what's up" because you said "hey." Hey, gents. Canada has allowed topless sunbathing since 1997. In the beginning, we had many people taking part. Now it happens maybe twice a year. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, Scott.
Yeah,
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, it's just like everything else. After a while, it's like no big
it's
deal.
a fad, you know?
Yeah, but what was I going to say? That's good, Scott. He's watching us. That's great. Yeah, I don't care about it. You know, I think it's something if people want to do it, they could do it. You know, I mean, I just was wondering what you guys. You know, I'm liberal about that whole thing. But like he said, it's probably they'll do it and then they stop. A lot of people, it's just not practical. You know, and but I've seen it down the islands and it's pretty neat. So anything else? I was just trying to think. I had another train of thought and I lost it when I saw Scott's thing up there. Anything else? Nothing to talk about.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. Messi won the World Cup.
Goat Messi.
He
beat
soccer
soccer.
is still undeniably corrupt. That will never change. But at least a god of the game got his cup. So that was pretty cool.
What happened with all that controversy, by the way?
I mean,
Nothing.
what we
happened?
expected.
Did
nothing.
Epstein kill himself?
What's that?
Did Epstein kill
Did
himself?
Jeffrey Epstein kill
So you guys
himself?
you all think it was a setup.
It light was brought to issues, but as I knew before this tournament started, like people are gonna talk about it for a little bit, and then the tournament's gonna, and that's the real sad part is that the World Cup's gonna leave, and
I heard a good
they're
thing
gonna
about,
go
a
on.
crazy thing about this. PSG, what's Paris Saint Germain? What is the name?
Paris Saint-Germain.
The owner of that club is Qatari, and Mbappe and Messi are on the same team, PSG. It's crazy. You know,
And they
that's a
made
little
it to the World Cup final.
playing each other in a passing the torch type game. Crazy narrative. you have to
Narrative's
say.
there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't speculate about any corruption there. Soccer's a hard game to fix.
I'm just there's some.
There's
a crazy narrative.
Don't get me wrong. Like there was a big FIFA betting scandal like years ago where referees were fixing matches left and right. Goalies were just like letting balls like
it's corruption
crazy
and
shit.
everything. Corruption.
But
corruption and everything.
dude, that narrative's insane. Messi, best player in the world, best player of all time, with Argentina, right, trying to win the first World Cup since Maradona won it back in like the 70s or 80s. I think it was like I think it was the 80s. Maradona died like 2 years ago. So they've got all this like emotional baggage on Argentina's side. France won the last one. They've got Kylian Mbappe, who's the greatest current player on the planet. He scores a hat trick in the game to just pull France back from the jaws of defeat 3 separate times. And then Messi wins it in penalties. It was the greatest game.
Good. I'm glad you had
of any sport ever played.
I'm glad you know.
And like I said, soccer's still corrupt.
Yeah. Well,
And it is what it is. At least I got entertained.
Human beings are corrupt. But I remember. I want to just roll back to what I was going to say before we saw Scott. You're talking about topless and everything. And when my medical show, we were talking about transgender surgery. And in Boston Hospital, they say we don't do genital surgery on anybody under 18. But it does. Then, if you read, in their statement, they'll do breast surgery on children 15, as low as 15 with parental consent. And I'm like, well, what? So I was always in the impression that breasts are genital.
Breasts are not genitals.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
They're not. They're not considered. They're not part of the apparatus for reproduction. No, but a lot of times we think. But when you say you can't expose your genitals, well, that's not top. That's not your top. So I just want to give you
this gender fluidity happening in the modern age. Who's gonna be the first guy,
to hang out,
straight guy,
to walk around with your thing hanging around?
No, that goes and gets breast implants just because he wants to like play with boobs
that's
all
happened.
day.
That's happened already.
But he's what?
What are you talking about, guy? Oh, straight guy.
A straight guy.
Well, why
that's
would a straight
still,
guy
like totally male in every way, but
Well,
gets
they-
breast implants because he
guy
wants to
probably-
play
no,
with
no,
boobs?
no, 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 no.
You think that's who
No, no,
exists?
no. When you say straight, so a guy who does that and still wants to be a guy, and they
He's doing it because he's so straight.
He
Because
wants to feel boobies.
He can't stand not touching boobs so much that he has to
Alright,
put them
well,
on
yeah,
his
right.
own body.
Yeah, I'm very sure it's happened already. Like Sean said, I guarantee you.
There's
Listen,
some incel kid
listen.
that's
I
doing it
guarantee
and
you.
just-
Listen, I guarantee you.
As he's watching Lifeguards off duty.
Yeah.
Sean, I
fan.
guarantee you somewhere in the world there's a guy or a
Look.
girl who's married, who had breast implants, and married a cow or a donkey, or that's the next thing. When are we going to start? Like, when is people going to start marrying and hooking up with other species? It's probably happening
That's
already.
called bestiality.
Yeah, I'm very sure. And so that's going to be, they're going to be pushing that next. So who else is saying hello to us? Who's that?
Diggs BTW says, "Hey, what's up?
What's
What's
up?
up, Diggs?
Do we know who that is?
Yeah.
No.
Nice. Thanks for watching. We really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah.
Let us know how you found us.
Yeah. So anyway, we get back to the thing with all of this, and it's evolving. We have to be careful criticizing what people want to do. I mean, think about it. You couldn't breastfeed on the beach years ago. Now we think that's just crazy. You couldn't have your ankles exposed if you're a woman. If you're a man, you couldn't walk on the boardwalk without a shirt. So
10 years from now, they're going to think, man, people complain that they used to cut off girls' boobs.
I don't know. I think there's a limit somewhere along the line. But my point is,
Listen,
we have to be.
hurtling towards genderless, hairless, featureless.
We'll be a
beings.
blob. We'll be like a Star Trek. I watched this one Star Trek
Yeah,
where,
what are we worried
what was
about?
left was just a glob of a brain, and the planet has a huge power plant, and you just pure thought. That's what
Exactly.
they were.
Us worrying about how we bump uglies with each other it's a distraction from the real narrative. We're just there. You go.
Anyway, all right,
that's your
so-
show, right?
So yeah, let's
This has been Lifeguards off duty.
yeah. So anyway, let's get some music. What do you got?
I think we're on a roll lately, boys.
Yeah, yeah.
How about you give us some?
You want some waves? I
no.
turned the volume down.
Get a little seagull action.
But how about
Overlap them.
what do
And
we
then
got to say,
catch-
Sean?
That was a good
Music in.
transition.
Okay, let's give us where. Yeah, then get rid of seals. That's done. So Lifeguard Association. Go to our Lifeguard Association.
That's the
LG,
Instagram.
LG Instagram. If you want to send us an email, whoever's wants to listen to us, and if you want to ask us some questions or come on to the show, we would love to have people come on the show. It's drkachmar@icloud.com. So it's drkachmar, KACHMR, @icloud.com.
Don't forget lifeguardsoffduty@gmail.com.
Yes, that's a good one. And also my webpage, if you want, I'm a doctor too. I'm a board certified reconstructive foot and ankle surgeon. We have a lot of information on Jersey Shore Foot and Leg Center. Even if you're not going to come and visit us in the office, that webpage is huge and has a lot of information.
I checked out your website the other day.
Yeah.
I'm on it for like 5 seconds. Boom. Watch Dr. Kachmar's next podcast.
Yeah, baby.
Big pop up. The
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
page.
We know how to push the content. Anyway, watch us on Spotify, any other podcasts. We're on Rumble. We are on Facebook. We're on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. So keep an eye out for us. Subscribe, please. We really need you to do that for us. And give us some comments. Anything else, guys?
Like and subscribe.
Listen, Merry Christmas.
Merry
Happy New
Christmas.
Year's. We'll see you on the other side of Christmas, right? I think we'll do a show in between Christmas and New Year's, hopefully.
Yeah, we should have worn Santa hats.
And we'll have our
got something.
we'll have it. All right. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much, and stay out and stay alive. Stay out and stay alive.
Did you end it?
Perfect.